My name is Luna Lee. I'm 40. Last Saturday at 7:43 p.m., I was standing in my parents' living room holding a glass of champagne I hadn't sipped, watching my brother Victor tell 37 relatives that I'd stolen our dead grandmother's entire retirement account, $420,000, and the worst part was half of them believed him. Luna forged Grandma's signature. Victor's voice cut through the anniversary party chatter like a knife through silk. He was standing by the fireplace, backlit by white string lights, his face flushed from his third bourbon. The probate court has documentation. She liquidated everything 3 days before Grandma died. The entire 401k rollover, gone. My mother's hand went to her throat. The pianist in the corner kept playing, oblivious. I could feel my pulse in my wrists, where I gripped the champagne flute. "That's not true," I said. My voice came out steady, which surprised me because my knees were shaking. "I never touched." "Then explain this." Victor pulled a folded document from his jacket pocket, waved it like a flag. "Probate approval, your signature, March 19th at 2:15 p.m. The clerk stamped it himself. March 19th. I knew exactly where I'd been. I'd been at Riverside Rehabilitation Center from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., covering a double shift because Jenny Morales had called in sick. I'd treated 14 patients that day. I had the appointment calendar. I had security badge logs. I had insurance billing records with timestamps. But I didn't say any of that. Not yet. "Victor," my father said quietly. He set down his whiskey glass on the mantel. "This is your mother's and my 40th anniversary. Can we what, Dad? Pretend Luna didn't steal from her own dying grandmother?" Victor's laugh was sharp, bitter. "I've been pretending for 6 months. I'm done." My Aunt Carol whispered something to my Uncle Raymond. They both looked at me. My cousin Jennifer shifted away from me slightly, like guilt was contagious. I set the champagne glass down on the bookshelf, very carefully, because my hands had started to shake and I didn't trust myself not to drop it. "I didn't steal anything," I said. "Then where's the money, Luna?" Victor stepped closer. He smelled like bourbon and expensive cologne. "Where's the $420,000? Because it's sure as hell not in Grandma's estate account." Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. The thing is, I knew my brother was lying. What I didn't know yet was why. I didn't know that Victor was being blackmailed, that someone had photographs of him from a business trip to Atlantic City, photographs that would destroy his marriage, his career, his carefully constructed life. I didn't know he was drowning in debt to people who didn't negotiate payment plans. I didn't know he'd forged those probate documents himself, bribed a court clerk named Timothy Marsh with $8,000 cash to stamp them official. All I knew was that my brother was standing in our parents' living room, surrounded by hanging photographs of our childhood. Victor and me building sandcastles, Victor and me on Christmas morning, Victor and me at Grandma's kitchen table covered in flour. And he was looking at me like I was a stranger, like I was the enemy. "I want a lawyer," I said. "Of course you do." Victor smiled, but there was nothing warm in it. Guilty people always do. My mother started crying, soft, quiet tears that she tried to hide by turning toward the window. My father stood frozen between us, his jaw working like he was chewing words he couldn't quite swallow. The pianist finally stopped playing. Let me take you back 8 years to the last time I felt safe. I was 32, sitting in Grandma's kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon in May. The house smelled like cinnamon and old books, and Grandma was making her famous apple strudel even though it was 83 degrees outside and the AC was broken. "You know what your problem is, Little Moon?" Grandma said. She always called me that, Little Moon, because my name, Luna, meant moon, and she said I was her light in dark times. "You think being good is enough." I was rolling out dough, getting flour everywhere. "Isn't it?" "No, sweetheart." She put her hand over mine, stopped the rolling pin. Her fingers were thin, knobby with arthritis, but strong. Being good makes you easy to hurt. You need to be smart, too. I am smart. Book smart, yes. You're going to be an excellent physical therapist. She squeezed my hand. But people smart? That's different. That's knowing who to trust and who to watch. Like who? She didn't answer right away. She opened the oven, checked the strudel that was already baking, let the warm cinnamon scent fill the kitchen. Then she closed the oven door and looked at me with eyes that were sharp despite her 79 years. Your brother loves you, she said carefully, but Victor loves himself more. When the time comes, and it will come, little moon, you remember that. I laughed it off then. Victor and I fought sometimes, sure, the way all siblings did, but I never thought, promise me something, Grandma said. She pulled a small brass key from her apron pocket, pressed it into my palm. When I'm gone, if Victor tries to take what's yours, you fight. You don't back down, you don't make peace, you fight. Can you promise me that? The key was warm from her body heat. What's this for? I asked. You'll know when you need to know. She closed my fingers around it. Promise me, Luna. I promise. She kissed my forehead. Her lips were soft, papery. She smelled like Pond's cold cream and vanilla extract. Good girl, she said. Now finish that dough before it gets warm. That was May 14th, 2017. Grandma died February 3rd, 2025, at 11:04 p.m. in her sleep. I found the brass key 3 days later in my jewelry box, where I'd kept it for 8 years, and I had no idea what it opened. The first betrayal happened at the hospital. Grandma had been dead for 5 days. I was sitting in the ICU waiting room, not for Grandma anymore, but because I couldn't quite leave yet, when Victor walked in with our cousin Thomas and our Uncle Raymond. We need to talk about the estate, Victor said. No greeting, no how are you holding up, just business. I stood up. Okay. Grandma's lawyer says there's a problem with the 401k rollover. Victor pulled out his phone, showed me an email. It was liquidated on March 19th, $420,000. The money went into an account under your name. The words didn't make sense at first. I read them twice. That's impossible, I said. I don't have an account with that bank. I've never even heard of Southwest Regional Credit Union. The clerk verified it. Victor's voice was flat, controlled. Your signature, your social security number. The withdrawal was processed at 2:15 p.m. I was working. My throat felt dry. I had patience all day. You can check. Luna. Victor put his phone away. I know you've been struggling financially. The student loans, the rent increase. I didn't take Grandma's money. Then who did? He looked at me with something like pity, which was somehow worse than anger. Because someone signed your name, someone knew your social, someone had access. Uncle Raymond cleared his throat. Maybe it was a mistake. Identity theft happens. With a court clerk verification? Victor shook his head. No. Someone walked into that courthouse, showed ID, signed documents, walked out with $420,000. Thomas was staring at me. His face was carefully neutral, but I could see the doubt creeping in around his eyes. I need to see these documents, I said. The lawyer has them. But Luna... Victor stepped closer, lowered his voice. If you just return the money, we can handle this quietly. No police, no family drama. Just give it back. That's when I felt it. The first crack. The moment when you realize someone you love thinks you're capable of something terrible. Get away from me, I said. Victor raised his hands like I was the one being aggressive. I'm trying to help you. By accusing me of theft? By calling me a liar? I'm calling you desperate. His voice hardened. And desperate people do desperate things, Luna. We all know that. I left. I walked out of that hospital, got in my 10-year-old Honda Civic with 140,000 miles on it, and I sat in the parking garage for 20 minutes trying to remember how to breathe. By the time I got home to my one-bedroom apartment on Ashford Street, my phone had 7 missed calls, 3 from my mother, 2 from Thomas, 1 from my Aunt Carol, 1 from a number I didn't recognize. I didn't call any of them back. Instead, I opened my laptop and searched for Southwest Regional Credit Union, found their website, called their customer service line at 9:47 p.m. "I need to verify if I have an account with you," I said. The woman on the phone was polite, professional. "Can I have your social security number?" I gave it to her. Keyboard clicking. A pause. "Yes, ma'am. You opened a savings account with us on March 15th. Current balance is $847.32. My stomach dropped. $847? Not $420,000? No, ma'am. Just $847.32. Can you tell me the last deposit? More clicking. March 19th. $420,000 was deposited at 2:18 p.m. and withdrawn the same day at 3:05 p.m. in cash. By who? I'm sorry, I can't release that information over the phone. You'd need to come in with photo ID. I thanked her and hung up. Someone had opened an account in my name, deposited Grandma's entire retirement fund, withdrawn it in cash 47 minutes later, left $847.32 as a trail. I pulled up my work calendar for March 19th. There it was, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., Riverside Rehabilitation Center. I'd treated Mrs. Patricia Gomez at 2 p.m., knee replacement rehab. Mr. James Chen at 3 p.m., rotator cuff injury. At 3:05 p.m., when someone was withdrawing $420,000 in cash from a bank 14 miles away, I was helping an elderly man lift his arm above his shoulder for the first time in 6 months. I had proof. Security cameras, badge swipes, patient appointment records, insurance billing with exact timestamps. But I didn't know yet that Victor had already told my parents, that he'd called my Aunt Carol and Uncle Raymond and Cousin Jennifer, that he'd posted in the family group chat, "Luna has betrayed us all. Grandma must be heartbroken in heaven." I didn't know that by morning, half my family would believe I was a thief. I found out at 7:14 a.m. when my mother called. "Luna, sweetheart." Her voice was strained, careful. "Your father and I think you should talk to a lawyer." "Mom, I didn't." "I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying you need legal advice. This is serious." "I know it's serious. Someone stole Grandma's money and framed me." Silence on the other end. The kind of silence that's louder than arguing. "You don't believe me," I said. "I believe you're going through something difficult," my mother said quietly, "and I believe you need help." I hung up. At 8:30 a.m., I got a text from my gym friend Rachel. "Hey, is everything okay? I heard something weird from my cousin who knows your cousin Thomas." At 9:15 a.m., my coworker Diane knocked on my office door at Riverside Rehab. "Luna, can we talk?" I was reviewing a patient file. "Sure." She closed the door behind her, sat down in the chair across from my desk. "There's a rumor going around that you're in some kind of legal trouble. Financial fraud or something?" My face burned so hot I could feel my pulse in my teeth. "It's not true," I said. "Okay," Diane nodded slowly. "Okay. I just wanted to check because, we have access to patient information, billing, insurance numbers." "You think I'd steal from patients?" "No, God no, Luna, this is awkward. Administration asked me to ask." "Tell administration I've never stolen anything in my life." Diane left. I sat at my desk for a long time, staring at the patient file without reading it. That afternoon, I treated 8 patients. Every single one of them was kind. Mr. Chen brought me homemade cookies. Mrs. Gomez asked about my weekend. A new patient, a college athlete named Marcus with a torn ACL, told me I had the steadiest hands he'd ever seen. And all I could think was, my own family thinks I'm a criminal, but these strangers trust me with their healing. At 6 p.m., my supervisor called me into her office. Luna, I'm going to be direct. Dr. Sharon Vega folded her hands on her desk. She was 52, former military physical therapist, the most no-nonsense person I'd ever met. I received a call from someone claiming to be your family attorney, asking about your employment records and schedule for March 19th. Did you give them the information? I told them to submit a formal request through proper channels. She studied me. Want to tell me what this is about? I told her everything. The $420,000, the forged documents, the bank account I didn't open, my brother's accusation, the probate clerk's stamp. Dr. Vega listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "Do you have your schedule for that day?" "Yes." "Badge swipe records?" "Yes." "Security camera footage?" "The system keeps it for 90 days. It's been 71 days. Get copies of everything," Dr. Vega said. "Today. Now. Before someone makes them disappear." You believe me? Luna, I've worked with you for 3 years. You stay late to help patients who can't afford extra sessions. You cover shifts without complaining. You report every penny of petty cash. She stood up. Yes, I believe you. Now go get your proof before this gets worse. I spent the next 2 hours in the administration office. I got my complete work schedule for March, printed and digital, security badge log, showing I swiped in at 12:47 p.m. and out at 9:23 p.m. Appointment calendar with patient names, times, and signatures. Insurance billing records with timestamp metadata. A written statement from Dr. Vega confirming my presence. I drove to the security office and requested camera footage for March 19th, 2 to 4 p.m., showing me in the rehabilitation gym. "This'll take a few days to process," the guard said. "I need it fast. It's for a legal matter." He looked at me, really looked, and something in my face must have convinced him because he said, "I'll mark it urgent." I drove home with a manila folder full of evidence, and for the first time in a week I thought, I can fight this. That night, Victor called. I didn't answer. He texted, "Mom's birthday dinner Sunday. Family wants you there. Time to come clean, Luna. Do the right thing." I blocked his number. Sunday came. I didn't go to the birthday dinner. Instead, I went to Grandma's house. The house that was now technically part of the estate, though nobody had sold it yet. It stood empty on Maple Ridge Drive, white brick with black shutters, the garden overgrown because Grandma wasn't there to tend it anymore. I used the spare key she'd given me years ago. The house smelled stale, unused. I walked through rooms full of furniture covered in white sheets, past photographs of our family on the walls, into Grandma's bedroom. Her dresser was still cluttered with costume jewelry and perfume bottles. Her reading glasses sat on the nightstand next to a bookmarked novel she'd never finish. I sat on her bed, the same bed where she'd died peacefully in her sleep, and I cried for the first time since the funeral. Then I remembered the brass key. I pulled it from my pocket, small, old-fashioned, with a worn bow and 3 teeth. Not a house key, not a car key, something else. I searched her bedroom, checked her dresser drawers, her closet, under her mattress. Nothing. I went to her office, the small room off the kitchen where she used to do her bookkeeping when she ran her boutique real estate business in the 90s. The desk was oak, heavy, with 3 drawers on each side and 1 long drawer in the middle. I tried the key in each lock. The bottom left drawer clicked open. Inside, a sealed manila envelope. Thick. My name written on the front in Grandma's handwriting. Luna Maria Lee, open when Victor shows his true face. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost couldn't open it. Inside the envelope, a handwritten letter, 4 pages. A copy of Grandma's original will, dated May 20th, 2017. Bank statements from Southwest Regional Credit Union in my name, showing the account opened March 15th with a $500 deposit. Not by me. A notarized statement from a private investigator named Robert Chen, dated February 1st, 2025, 2 days before Grandma died. Photographs of Victor meeting with a man I didn't recognize outside a bank. A receipt for $8,000 paid to Timothy Marsh, court clerk, dated March 17th. Asterisk, a USB drive labeled insurance. I read the letter 3 times. The first time, I couldn't breathe. The second time, I couldn't stop crying. The third time, I understood what Grandma had done. She'd known. For 8 years, she'd known Victor would do this. She'd known he was weak, desperate, easily corrupted. She'd known that when she died, he'd try to take everything. So she'd set a trap. Not for revenge, for truth. The letter read, "My dearest little moon, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and Victor is already trying to take what I left you. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I tried to change him, tried to teach him integrity like I taught you. But some people just don't learn. Do you remember that Tuesday in May when you promised to fight? When I gave you that brass key? I've been preparing for this moment since that day. Victor is being blackmailed. He made mistakes in Atlantic City, gambling, other women, debts to dangerous people. I found out about it in 2022. I hired an investigator. I have proof. The USB drive has everything: photos, videos, financial records, names. He'll try to steal your inheritance by claiming you took mine. He's already set it in motion. I've watched him forge documents, bribe that fool Timothy Marsh at the courthouse, open a bank account in your name. He doesn't know I know. He thinks I'm a dying old woman who can't see past her own nose. The original will is with my attorney, Marcus Liu, at Liu and Associates, 2847 Northwest Boulevard, Suite 402. He has instructions to wait until you're ready. The copy in this envelope is enough to start. Your 401k, the real one, not the one Victor stole, is protected in a trust I established in 2019. He can't touch it. It's $680,000 now, invested well, all yours when this is over. The evidence in this packet will prove: 1. Victor forged probate documents. 2. Victor bribed a court clerk. 3. Victor opened a bank account in your name. 4. Victor withdrew the money and gave it to his blackmailers. 5. You were working at Riverside Rehab the entire time. Don't go to the police yet. Go to Marcus Liu. He'll know what to do. Wait for the right moment. The moment when Victor is most confident, most sure he's won. Then show him the truth. You are not a thief, Luna. You are not desperate. You are my granddaughter, and you have my spine and my stubbornness, and that's worth more than any inheritance. I love you, little moon. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you in person, but I'm protecting you now. All my love, Grandma P.S. The remaining $847.32 in that fake account? I put it there myself. Easter egg money. Buy yourself something nice when this is over. I sat on Grandma's office floor for a long time, holding that letter, understanding the depth of her foresight. She'd known Victor would self-destruct. She'd known I'd need proof. She'd known the exact shape of his betrayal years before it happened. And she'd prepared. Monday morning, I called Liu and Associates. Marcus Liu, please. My name is Luna Lee. My grandmother was Helen Lee. One moment, Ms. Lee. A man's voice came on the line, warm, professional. Ms. Luna, I've been waiting for your call. Your grandmother said you'd reach out when you were ready. Are you ready? Yes. Good. Can you come to my office today? I have some things to show you. I took the afternoon off work, drove to Northwest Boulevard. Liu and Associates was on the 4th floor of a modern glass building. Marcus Liu was in his mid-60s, silver hair, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He shook my hand. Your grandmother was an extraordinary woman. She was. She hired me in 2017, said she wanted to make sure her estate was ironclad, said her grandson was weak and her granddaughter was strong, and she wanted to make sure strength won. He opened a safe in his office wall. She updated her will 4 times between 2017 and 2025. Each time she left everything to you. Each time, she added more protections against Victor. He pulled out a thick folder. This is the original will, witnessed and notarized. Your brother has a forged version. The probate stamp is fake, the signature is fake, the whole document is fake. Timothy Marsh is going to prison, by the way. We already reported him to the state attorney general. When? 2 days ago. Your grandmother's instructions were clear. Wait until Victor makes his move, then bury him in evidence. Marcus smiled slightly. He made his move at your parents' anniversary party. You called me this morning. Perfect timing. What happens now? Now? Marcus leaned back in his chair. Now we wait for the right moment. Victor thinks he's won. He's told the family you're a thief. He's spreading rumors, isolating you. That's good. That means he's confident. Confident people make mistakes. I want this over. I know, but your grandmother was very specific. She wanted Victor to confess publicly. She wanted witnesses. She wanted the family to see his true face, not just hear about it secondhand. How? There's another anniversary coming up, isn't there? Your parents' actual anniversary date is June 14th. That's in 8 days. Big party planned? The 40th anniversary celebration got cut short because of Victor's accusation, I said. But Mom mentioned rescheduling for their actual anniversary date. Bigger venue this time. She wanted to do it right. Perfect. Marcus folded his hands. Let Victor think he's won. Let him get comfortable. Then at the party, we reveal everything. That's dramatic. Your grandmother was dramatic. He smiled. She wanted justice, yes, but she also wanted theater. She wanted Victor to face consequences in front of the people he'd lied to. I thought about it. 8 days. I could survive 8 days. Okay, I said. What do I do? Nothing. Act defeated. Let Victor gloat. Don't defend yourself. Don't fight back. Just exist quietly until June 14th. It was the hardest week of my life. Victor called my mother, told her I'd refused to return the money. My mother called me crying, begging me to just make this right. I didn't defend myself. I just said, I can't talk about this right now, and hung up. My Aunt Carol uninvited me from a family barbecue. My cousin Jennifer blocked me on social media. My Uncle Raymond sent me a text. Very disappointed in you, Luna. Expected better. At work, patients still trusted me. Mrs. Gomez brought me flowers, just because. Mr. Chen invited me to his granddaughter's graduation. Marcus, the torn ACL athlete, asked if I'd train him for the college soccer season. But I felt like I was living 2 lives. The thief my family saw, and the healer my patients knew. On June 12th, 2 days before the anniversary party, Victor came to my workplace. I was in the rehabilitation gym, helping a stroke patient named Eleanor practice her gait training. She was 68, determined, working through right side weakness with fierce concentration. Excellent, Eleanor, I said. Heel to toe, remember? You've got this. Luna, Victor's voice behind me. Can we talk? Eleanor looked at him, then at me. You need me to stay? She asked quietly. No, it's fine. Let's take a break. Sit down, drink some water. I walked Victor to the hallway. He looked tired. His suit was wrinkled. His eyes had dark circles. What do you want? I asked. I want you to make this easy. His voice was low, strained. The lawyer says if you just sign over your claim to the estate, we can settle this without court. You keep your job, your reputation. I don't press charges. Charges for what? Elder fraud, forgery, theft. I looked at my brother, really looked at him, saw the fear underneath the anger, saw the desperation he was trying to hide. No, I said. Luna, please. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm trying to help you. By framing me for theft? By giving you an out. He stepped closer. His breath smelled like coffee and antacids. You're not the victim here. Stop acting like you are. Something inside me had hardened since that anniversary party. Something had crystallized during those quiet days of waiting, of watching my family believe lies, of knowing the truth but staying silent. "You're right," I said calmly. "I'm not a victim. Victims don't fight back." Victor's face changed. Just for a second, I saw uncertainty flicker in his eyes. "Don't do something you'll regret," he said. "I won't." I walked back toward the gym. Over my shoulder. "See you at the anniversary party, Victor." I heard him leave. Eleanor was watching me from her wheelchair. "Family?" she asked. "Brother." "Sounds complicated." "It is." "Want to know what I learned from my stroke?" Eleanor gripped her cane with her left hand. "Life's too short to let people make you small. Fight for your space, honey. Fight loud." June 14th arrived. The anniversary party was at the Riverside Gardens Event Center, a beautiful venue with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a lake. My mother had gone all out. White roses everywhere, string quartet, champagne tower, catered dinner for 73 guests. I wore a simple navy dress. No jewelry except Grandma's pearl earrings. I arrived at 6 p.m. Exactly. The room went quiet when I walked in. Victor was by the bar, talking to Uncle Raymond and Aunt Carol. He saw me, smiled. That same pitying smile from the hospital. My mother rushed over. "Luna, sweetheart, I'm glad you came." She lowered her voice. "Please don't make a scene. It's our anniversary. Can we just have one nice night?" "I'm not here to make a scene, Mom. I'm here to celebrate you and Dad." She searched my face, looking for sarcasm. Found none. Relaxed slightly. Okay, good." The party continued. People avoided me like I was contagious. I stood by the window, sipping sparkling water, watching the sun set over the lake. At 7:30 p.m., my father made a toast, thanked everyone for coming, talked about 40 years of marriage, of raising 2 children, of building a life together. He didn't mention Grandma. He didn't mention the missing $420,000. He didn't mention me. Victor raised his glass along with everyone else, and I saw it, the tension leaving his shoulders. He thought he'd won. He thought I'd given up. At 8 p.m., Marcus Liu walked in. He was dressed in a charcoal suit, carrying a leather briefcase. He found me by the window. "Ready?" he asked quietly. "Yes." "Remember, calm, factual, brief. Let the evidence speak." Victor saw Marcus. His face went pale. He set down his drink, started walking toward us, but Marcus was already moving to the front of the room. "Excuse me, everyone." Marcus's voice cut through the conversation. "I'm Marcus Liu, attorney for the estate of Helen Lee. I apologize for the interruption, but there's a matter that needs to be addressed tonight in the presence of witnesses." The string quartet stopped playing. My mother looked horrified. "This isn't the time." "Mrs. Lee, with all respect, this is exactly the time." Marcus opened his briefcase. 6 months ago, Helen Lee passed away. Her estate included a 401k rollover account valued at $420,000. That money went missing. Victor Blake has publicly accused his sister, Luna Lee, of theft. Victor stood frozen by the bar. His face had gone from pale to gray. "Those accusations," Marcus continued, "are false. I have documentation proving that Luna was working at Riverside Rehabilitation Center on March 19th from 12:47 p.m. to 9:23 p.m. I have security footage, appointment records, and witness testimony placing her 14 miles from the bank where the withdrawal occurred." He pulled out a folder, handed copies to my Uncle Raymond, my Aunt Carol, my cousin Thomas. "Furthermore," Marcus said, "I have evidence that Victor Blake forged probate documents, bribed court clerk Timothy Marsh with $8,000 cash, and withdrew the $420,000 himself to pay debts to individuals who were blackmailing him over gambling losses and extramarital affairs in Atlantic City." The room erupted. Gasps, murmurs. Someone dropped a wine glass. It shattered on the marble floor. Victor's wife, Sarah, stood up. "What? That's insane!" Victor's voice cracked. He's lying. Luna probably paid him. I don't lie, Mr. Blake. Marcus pulled out another document. This is a notarized statement from Timothy Marsh, obtained by the State Attorney General's office. He confessed to accepting a bribe from you. He's currently facing criminal charges. Would you like me to read his statement aloud? No, Victor said quickly. Too quickly. This is a receipt, Marcus continued, holding up a piece of paper, showing your $8,000 payment to Mr. Marsh, your signature, your handwriting. Victor's hands were shaking. I can explain. Please do, my father said. His voice was ice. Explain how you accused your sister of theft while you were stealing from your own grandmother. I wasn't stealing. I was... Victor stopped, realized he'd already confessed. The room had gone completely silent. You were what? Sarah's voice was trembling. Gambling? Cheating? What else, Victor? Sarah, it's not... What else? She was crying now. What else did you lie about? Victor looked around the room, saw 73 faces staring at him, saw my mother's tears, saw my father's disgust, saw his wife's devastation, saw me, standing by the window, calm and silent. You set me up, he said to me. Grandma set me up. No, I said quietly. Grandma gave you a choice. You chose wrong. Marcus handed me an envelope. This is the original will, witnessed and notarized in 2017. Your grandmother left her entire estate to Luna, including the 401k, her house, her investments. Total value, approximately $680,000. My mother sat down heavily in a chair. Uncle Raymond was staring at Victor like he'd never seen him before. Aunt Carol had her hand over her mouth. I was being blackmailed, Victor said desperately. They had photos. They were going to destroy my marriage, my career. I didn't have a choice. You had a choice, my father said. You could have asked for help. You could have told the truth. Instead, you stole from your dead grandmother and blamed your sister. I'm sorry. Victor's voice broke. I'm so sorry. Tell Luna, my mother said. Tell your sister. Victor looked at me. His eyes were red. Luna, I'm sorry. I was desperate. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, holding Grandma's letter, feeling the weight of her foresight, her protection, her love. Marcus spoke again. Mr. Blake, the State Attorney General's office will be contacting you regarding the Timothy Marsh bribery case. Additionally, Miss Lee has the right to pursue civil and criminal charges for fraud, defamation, and identity theft. Are you? Victor asked me. Are you going to press charges? I thought about Grandma, about her letter, about her instructions. Wait for the right moment. Let him confess publicly, then decide. I don't know yet, I said honestly. I need time to think. Please, Luna, please. I walked toward the door. Marcus followed. The crowd parted like water. Luna, wait. My mother stood up. I'm sorry. I should have believed you. I should have... Mom, it's okay. I hugged her. She was shaking. I forgive you. I don't deserve that. Neither did I said. But Grandma gave it to me anyway. That's what love does. I left the party at 8:47 p.m., drove to Grandma's house on Maple Ridge Drive, sat in her garden under the oak tree where we used to have tea parties when I was little. I read her letter one more time. I'm protecting you now. Thank you, Grandma, I whispered to the twilight. Thank you. 3 weeks later, Victor pled guilty to fraud and bribery charges. He got 2 years probation, community service, and a $50,000 fine. His wife divorced him. His company let him go. He moved to a small apartment across town. I didn't press civil charges. I thought about it, but ultimately decided that watching him lose everything he'd valued, his reputation, his marriage, his career, was consequence enough. The real 401k and Grandma's estate, all $680,000, transferred to my name. I paid off my student loans, put a down payment on a small house with a garden, set up a scholarship fund for physical therapy students at my alma mater. I kept working at Riverside Rehab. Mrs. Gomez finally graduated from her knee rehab. Mr. Chen regained full rotation in his shoulder. Marcus, the athlete, made the college soccer team. Eleanor walked without her cane. 6 months later, I was sitting in my new living room, drinking coffee, when my mother called. Luna, I wanted to invite you to Thanksgiving. The whole family, if you're comfortable. Will Victor be there? No, he's not welcome at family gatherings right now. Maybe someday, but not yet. Then I'll come. Really? Really, on one condition. What's that? We visit Grandma's grave before dinner. All of us. Together. Of course, sweetheart. Of course. Thanksgiving morning, 17 of us stood around Grandma's grave. I brought white roses. My mother brought her favorite perfume. My father brought a flask of the bourbon she used to drink on special occasions. Thank you, Mom, my father said quietly, for everything. I touched the headstone, felt the cold granite under my palm. Thank you, little moon, I said, for teaching me to fight. If you're watching this, and you've ever had someone doubt you, someone who should have believed you but didn't, I want you to know. Their doubt doesn't define you. Their lies don't become your truth just because other people believe them. And sometimes, the people who really love us protect us in ways we won't understand until years later. If you've had to defend yourself against someone you trusted, type, "I defended my truth," in the comments. Or if you're still fighting for someone to believe you, type, "Still fighting." Both are valid, both matter. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. I stood in my garden this morning, watching snow fall through the kitchen window, the first snow of the season. I was on the warm side of the glass this time, coffee in hand, wearing Grandma's old cardigan that still smells faintly like vanilla and Pond's cold cream. I thought about 8 years ago, when she pressed that brass key into my palm, when she asked me to promise to fight. I kept my promise, Grandma. And you kept yours.